Everybody, this is my Stamina Necro PvP build video. This is two-hand sword and shield. As well, I will be covering dual wield and two-hand. This is for open world, as well as sewers. Not so much battlegrounds. You don't really want to use this in battlegrounds, these setups. The skills, perhaps, not the armor pieces. Okay, this is our front bar, unbuffed, using the warrior, using dubious. This is with dubious, I should say. You can use RTM take away broth. I was just going to show you the character sheets in there's the back bar without the RTM, because RTM is very expensive to be constantly running, and your average player can't afford it. Jump into CP just to get you this out of the way, like first thing before we go into inventory and skills, because there's a little bit more explanation with those. CP is kind of dealer's choice. There are some things that are necessary, that are a little bit more necessary, that you should have a certain amount of points in. Like you can run a lot more points in a siphoner. That's kind of greasy. This is also for open world. If you're gonna duel, most people crank this to like, I think it's like 10 or 15% or something absurd. But pause the video whenever you like, and I'm not gonna explain anything else with the CP. You take it or leave it. Feel like thick skin deserves a little bit more of an explanation. So if I run anything with a purify, or that has a decent purify, I do not run thick skinned. I have a hard time trying to fit a purify on Stam Crow. I know you can fit it, but just where all my skills are, you'll understand later. So we're using New Moon on our front bar, and we're using Potentates on our back bar. Nirnhone on your two-hand, Decisive on your back bar, Sturdy on your shield. I like to run Escapist Poisons. However, you can change your maul to run Shock, because you're always diseasing and defiling off your Blast Bones. So the Shock will give you your minor vulnerability that you put on other people. I use this on other characters, so I like to run the disease anyway, enchant, and I normally run Escapist. The reason I run Escapist is because I run Elude instead of Shuffle, and I want the snarement removal because it's super handy, and sometimes when you're smacking people and you get that random movement speed, it's super handy. Also works very well for kiting. You can also switch this and run on your back bar, the Escapist, and run a Shock enchant on your front bar. That's also another variation you can run. We're running Balo as our monster set, and Essence Thief on both bars as our other set. So Essence Thief is a tricky set to use. I will go into a bit of a further explanation on how Essence Thief works, and you'll kind of see it. Essence Thief throws this little rune. Now, the rune can take priority, and the rune can also fuck you. So the rune can go into a spot where you're like, oh, I should go for the rune, and you keep going for the rune instead of concentrating on the person you're trying to kill, or the rune will go off the side of a wall. It's kind of annoying to use. However, this set is incredibly strong. It gives you a raw damage, a 10% for 10 seconds, and can be created every 10 seconds. This has 100% uptime if you use it correctly. It also heals you. It says 4808, but it's about halved, so it's about 2404 health but it still restores 4255 stamina and increases your damage done by 10%. This is actually an insane set. If you run this with tether, you have unlimited sustain. Unlimited. Like, it is absolutely retarded. Now, the sad part I'm going to tell you right away really quick, I don't actually have this morphed. I'll explain that a little bit more later of why it's not morphed and why I didn't use it before. We are also running the head infused, the body in pen, the shoulder in pen, the belt sturdy, the hands well fitted, legs well fitted, feet sturdy. Now, the way I run my CP is the reason these two are still in pen, and most of my sets are like this because I share the shoulder between sets, and that is also why I chose the jack. I do have the hands, so I could put a heavy new moon, and then I could put a medium here to maximize the amount of armor I get from my two heavy pieces, because ultimately you should be going for the head and the chest. I'm lazy. I run whatever I have. Sometimes I don't feel like crafting other stuff, but anyways. And we want all three infused. This is really nice having all these legendary. No, I bought all these actually from the golden. I did not waste palladium for that. So that is OP. Alright, so now we're going to get into skills. So obviously we want to run Blast Bones. There's your Defile. You want Rally, Restoring Tether, Executioner, Dizzy Swing, Dawnbreaker. You want this morph to the Stamina one, to the one that restores stamina. You can run the Healing one. I wouldn't. I run Elude. You can run Shuffle. Vigor, Summoner's Armor is better than the Chain Pull. The Chain Pull one fucks you all the time. Literally, you should never use it. It is bad. The only time you should ever use it is if you're running a rule specific, like a tank. You want to pull everything to you, all that crap. Spirit Guardian, the other morph of this is garbage. Don't use it if you're on this build. It's 10% damage run. I actually don't run the other one if I was at all. I wouldn't run the other morph at all. Dead in Pain. Now, arguably, people say the other morph is better because you get more ultimate. I prefer Dead in Pain, especially when you're running the two-hand sword and shield setup. Dead in Pain has a better heal, and it reduces damage that you take by 30%. And then they both have the well slotted. The damage you take is reduced by 3%. And the other one gives you more ultimate every time you consume a corpse. However, you still generate the passive, which I believe is here. In your passive, yes. So you still get this passive regardless. You still generate a lot of ultimate, whether you have Dead in Pain or not. So if you know how to corpse control very, very efficiently, you can really, really use this to maximize your tankiness with this character. It is fucking uncontrollable. Ridiculous. Plus, you can also use Spell Wall, and you can really fuck up some people. I really like using this against Magblades instead of trying to go for the Donnie. I like using Spell Wall and make them think that they put me on the defensive, and then they'll or you'll hear Spectral Bow and you'll put it on, you'll reflect it back, and then your Blast Bones goes off one reverse and they're fucking dead. It's kind of funny. So this is the way I used to run this build for a long time. Basically, since Necro has come out, I have not changed the two-hand sword and shield aside from making some tweaks here and there, but I've run Essence Thief and New Moon with Potes, and Balo or Troll King, also a very good substitute, for quite a few patches. I used to run Bloodspawn because, you know, it was best in slot. But with the nerf to Bloodspawn, Balo, I believe, has become best in slot because naturally, as a Necro, you're really tanky. This setup is really fun. So you run your Fear and your Colossus. So it is a single target, but what you're basically doing is when you're being overrun, you're being over-controlled, Colossus acts the same way Dawnbreaker does in the fact that everybody, like, it stops people in their tracks. However, Colossus just makes people run away. All you have to do is get that one person when everybody's focusing you. You do your fucking blast bones, you drop your Colossus, then you do your fear, and then you go for your specific target. All you have to do is just do one light attack and start reversing. That light attack does so much damage with your passes if you run it the same way I do, because that's a 22% increase on your light attack damage and your Colossus. I also run that really high because in the lag you can basically just blast bones and light attack people to death, or light attack them till they're 50%, and then it's light attack reverse, light attack reverse, light attack reverse, and you'll basically kill anything. Especially inside the Colossus, it's just light attack reverse, and you basically do 2 or 3 of them, you re-blast bones. Every 2 or 3 skills, you should always re-blast bones to keep your blast bones at. That roughly runs you about 80 to 100% uptime. So if I was gonna small scale group, like where we're all on kind of Xing, but we still need some Zerg control, this is how I would have my Necro set up. So I run Vigor on my front bar so I can run Fear on my back bar, and I run Colossus on my back bar and Dawnbreaker on my front bar. So you basically, it's the exact same thing. You don't want to use Fear unless you're going for the Colossus, or Fear is extremely handy for like defensive reasons. Your teammates getting fucked up or whatever, you come on your back bar to rebuff, hold block, drop your Fear, switch Vigor, switch back. You can do whatever. You can also keep Vigor on your front bar, and you can run, this is what I was testing earlier, you can run Tether on your back bar, Vigor on your front bar, because Vigor is really, really strong to have on your front bar because of all your weapon damage. So when you use Vigor on your front bar and you have New Moon, your Vigor is a lot stronger than it would be on your back bar. This kind of just, this scales off your highest offensive stat as well, so this also works on your front bar. I like to use the restoring tether here, and I like to have Vigor on my back bar, like the initial setup when I first started the video to show you, because of the same reason that this scales off your highest offensive stats. So this also scales off my stamina, so as you can see, it's a lot higher. Now Vigor isn't as high, it's a 3k, but the tether, I believe, is more of a drop. Oh no, it's roughly the same for how much of a drop it is. However, the tether also gives you the 3%, so, and your rally, so your rally has a really strong heal every time you use it, because you're also running restoring tether. Plus, when you're being offensive, restoring tether has a weird kind of cast time to it, so you can almost like blast bones and use it without having to worry about the game lag. Like, restoring tether almost has like no lag in the game whatsoever. I believe it's because it doesn't work off the same global cooldown as every other ability, and I believe it works the exact same way as detonating Siphon. Okay, we are now going to cover the dual wield 2-hand setup. So if you're not interested in that, the rest of the video isn't for you. So really quick, this is our front bar unbuffed. Inside, sewers, same thing. I like doing it in the sewers because we get no passives from any of the, oops, sorry, I should like fully buff before I show you that. There we go. Because you get no modifiers from keeps or scrolls or anything. This is just the baseline stats. Okay, we're gonna get into skills. This is basically your only flex skill. You can run race against time here if you trust you have a good group, and you can run shuffle instead of elude, and then you don't necessarily have to run the escapist. I would always run it regardless. Because Whirling Blades also procs your poisons. So Camo Hunters absolutely have to have in this because of the flanking. Vigor is very important to have, especially on the front. You kind of want it on your new moon side for the really, really strong heal, because we're not running tether. Whirling Blades for our execute, I find it better than the bigger range, and Blast Bones with Colossus. You literally only have 2 offensive abilities. It's Blast Bones, Light Attacks, and Whirling Blades. That's all you do. Then we have Elude, Rally, Summoner's Armor. Again, you don't want to run the chain pull thing. It fucks you all the time. But if you can kind of, I suppose, run it. You can run Spirit Guardian. Or I should say you should run Spirit Guardian, don't run the other morph. This is the time that I would say the other morph is far more important than Dead in Pain. I jump back and forth all the time, so I just leave Dead in Pain, but the other morph is much stronger for this setup, and I like running Animated Blast Bones on my back bar. Animated Blast Bones is actually really, really fun to run on your front bar when you're in the sewers, because if there are 3 dead things, and that includes your armor, Blast Bones, and your Spirit Guardian, as well as everything you kill, there are 3 bodies on the ground. You can summon this shit, and you can summon 3 additional Blast Bones on top of your Blighting Blast Bones already, and they all are Blighting Blast Bones, so that's 4 Blighting Blast Bones that you just launch at somebody. I believe they're all Blighting Blast Bones, or they might actually be the non-morphed. I don't actually know for sure. I can't remember. I've never really paid that much attention. But that's still 4 Blast Bones that hit for a fuckload of damage. Fuckload. Like, ridiculous. If they get hit by all of them, you're fucked. You're dead. You're dead. There's nothing you can do. However, the shitty part is people can still dodge, roll CC, and kill other Blast Bones. So, effectively, it's just kind of a nice little touch when you summon your friends back from the grave. And gear is New Moon, Nirnhone, keep your Escapist, sharpened. I'm kind of low on transmutes, but personally I would run this defensive. You can run Nirnhone so that you have stronger back bar heals. I don't really think it's worth the Nirncrux, but you can. Choice is yours. Again, we're going to want to stick to Balos. And we're going to run Heem Jaws. So it's New Moon and Heem Jaws. I went with Well Fitted because I'm running more Stam and only the 1 max health. And again, it's because I share this. This is the only reason this is in pen. And we run that extra sturdy piece as well as Well Fitted. If I do change this, it'll probably be to sturdy, so that I have an extra sturdy, because sometimes you need to block while spinning in order to stay alive. And of course you want your New Moon jewelry all infused as well. Well, thanks for watching. I hope the video was helpful and informative. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'm hoping to get a little bit more into video editing, so I'm going to be trying to release a video once a month, either a build or PvP video, or perhaps on some other subjects. I have been playing BDO a little bit, Black Desert Online, in case you didn't know what the abbreviation was. I would recommend getting it. It was $40. I bought it for $15. It was on sale not that long ago. It might still be. I'm not entirely sure. It's a fun game. I believe it's Japanese. It could be Korean, but I believe it's Japanese. It's a lot of fun. It's got a lot of sick animations and stuff. Just check out a couple videos online. But the game is like heavy into farming, but it's just another fun MMO to play on the console. So I hope you guys enjoy, and smoke up, drink up, and cheers.